Hello and welcome back. So today we're talking first aid and the things that I think that you should have in a first aid kit for your pets if they manage to get into strife or have an accident or injury, and just a few basic things that would be handy to lump together, always have accessible. So the first thing is going to be some bandaging stuff. So we have some non-adhesive bandage, we call it vet wrap. You can find this in pharmacies. Second thing is what we call a conforming gauze. So that actually helps to hold things on more effectively. The wonderful thing about this is it does also double up as a makeshift muzzle if for some reason you have a dog in particular that might be in pain and showing some signs of aggression. So I will do another video later after this one that shows you how to make a makeshift muzzle for your dog. The other thing that is important, some scissors to cut your bandages, some disposable gloves. So disposable gloves, handy if there's mess, infection, and you don't want that to transfer across to you. So for hygiene purposes, saline, sodium chloride, again, you can buy these in all sorts of different forms in the chemist, and very, very handy for flushing wounds that might be a little bit dirty. The other thing that they're really handy for is if there's an eye injury or something like that. So to moisten and to flush the eyes, they're really good for that. Or if, you know, heaven forbid, we do have what's called a prolapsed eye. In particularly, we see this in your Pekingese or your pug type breeds, where the eye doesn't have a very deep socket that it sits in, and if that's injured, certainly wetting some swabs and putting that over the eye can give it a lot of protection really quickly. Some adhesive tape, so if you're going to have to stick anything on, if we need to make a splint or something like that, then that's going to be handy for sticking that on, so that is a sticky one. Little tweezers, so tweezers, these are just little disposable ones. If you do have anything in a wound or something that needs to come out, they're quite handy for that. Gauze swabs, so again, these are great to pack into wounds if you've got any bleeding. As I mentioned before with those eye injuries, wetting them with your saline and popping them over the eye for protection too. Thermometer. So unlike us, these thermometers need to go up the bottom. And so if you're going to do that, please make sure you've got some lube as well, because there's nothing as uncomfortable as sticking a dry thermometer up a dog who's already distressed bottom. So a little bit of lube on the end of the thermometer. Normal body temperature for your dogs, generally between 38 and 39 degrees. Anything significantly higher or significantly lower means that you need immediate attention. In summertime, when we do have heat stroke and heat stress problems, being able to monitor temperature as you're trying to cool your pet is also super important. A couple of other little things. So this is just a makeshift lead. So if you see a dog that's out, you want to restrain it. These ones are quite handy because they just loop on through to give you some control over your dog. And the final thing in my first aid pack that you should have is a old towel or blanket, something that can be used to provide warmth if you have a pet who's a bit shocky. If you've got a dog that's in pain, sometimes they might frail a little bit, they might try and bite. So having something that is not going to hurt them, but you can cover the mouth and keep yourself safe is also very, very important. So number one thing, you have to keep yourself safe while you're helping these pets, because if you're not safe, you can't help them. I hope you've enjoyed that quick little rundown on the first aid kit for your pets and some things to have handy. And the other thing I'd say is if you're traveling with your pet, making sure that everyone knows where this kit is so it's easily accessible. Oh, one other thing that I've just noticed that I forgot about that's behind me is some disinfectant. So if you need to flush a wound or you've got something that's a bit dirty, I've got my big sort of industrial size packs. So this is a chlorhexidine wash. Or the other thing that's good for pets is iodine. So diluting iodine 1 in 10 and using that to flush Wounds is also a very effective wound cleaner as well. And again, most of these things are all available at your local pharmacy, or your vet clinic should be able to help with that, to provide a bit of a kit so you've always got something on hand if your pet gets into trouble.